That's what my mom's hyphenated last name was.
Oh. She had the hyphen?
Mm-hmm. From 2 of her husbands.
She had like 10, 12 of them? What?
16. She murdered them all. Well, I'm Jules.
And I'm Jason Kirby Watkins.
Yeah. And together
we
are doing spooky.
I'm so scared right now.
Yeah, we finally made it to the end of the spooky run.
No.
Or the middle. Or it's just now beginning.
I think it's the beginning. Do you want me to actually tell you? I have it listed.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter?
No.
Okay. I think this is closer to the beginning or the middle.
Yeah, so we did a movie. I chose this movie.
We're both like, hey, that looks good.
Yeah. Everybody's like, hey, this movie's pretty dang good.
Did I do something bad with that can? You're really looking at it.
I'm just making sure it landed.
Oh. It didn't fall through a glitch?
We had watched and are now going to talk about
Friday the 13th 2.
In a Violent Nature.
That is the one about it's scary in the woods because the woods are alive with the sound of screams.
This movie had an estimated budget of $3 million.
Oh, cool.
It grossed worldwide $4.5 million.
4.5? That's it, really?
Yeah, because then, I mean, it was only in theaters for a month, a couple weeks.
Okay.
And then it went to Shudder.
Sure, but I mean, almost everything is like, hey, I'm in the theaters. Just kidding. I'm on demand.
Yeah. They had to do a substantial reshoot.
What?
For this movie.
Really?
Yeah. I'm going to go ahead and read the quote from the director. It's a little long, so I'm going to paraphrase it. It said that they reshot probably 70% of the film.
What the fuck?
Originally, the actor that played the Monster Man had to be replaced because he was ill or something. So he's like, fine, I'll just get a guy that's got roughly the same build and we'll go on. And they shot the rest of the movie. But then once they got into the editing bay and he realized in actuality, although it was always intended, but in actually piecing it together, he realized how much of the movie was just watching this guy walk. Mm-hmm. And he's like, you could totally tell a difference between the two guys. Just the way they walked. So we couldn't use a lot of the footage.
That sucks.
And they had already basically wrapped at that point.
Mm-hmm.
But somehow the crew and the cast stuck around. And they ended up doing the rest of the movie probably for no money.
Oh, man, that's so crazy. They got all the non-actors who haven't been in anything to stick around and do more acting.
Mm-hmm. And they filmed it in a part of Canada originally. He wanted it to be in Ontario, I believe. And they didn't film specifically where he had kind of envisioned. So then when they were doing the reshoots, they had the opportunity to film in Ontario. Ontario?
I was also thinking about making a joke about it.
And they then went to a different place. They said the only shot of the original film that's in the final cut is roughly 5 or 6 seconds long.
Jesus.
But he says it's the most expensive shot in the film by far.
Does it say what it is?
It doesn't. I'm thinking maybe when he pulled that lady inside herself. It's pretty elaborate. That's longer than 5 or 6 seconds. Commentators have drawn comparisons between In a Violent Nature and the genre known as slow cinema.
What?
I didn't know that it existed. The director said he drew direct inspiration from the film style of Gus Van Sant.
Oh, for sure.
Specifically
Last
Jerry,
Days. Oh.
Elephant, and Last Days.
Last Days. It's all behind Michael Pitt's head in Last Days. This is all right behind this guy. It's
and the
exactly.
wrestler. He didn't say that, but they did that in there too.
Okay.
At the beginning. He also found Terrence Malick to be a direct influence.
Great.
With all the whispering. The movie emphasizes static, long take shots and features no musical score. The director said he wanted it to almost feel like a nature documentary. And then there's sudden bursts of violence. Much like nature.
Okay. I didn't even notice there wasn't any music till you pointed it out.
Yeah, me either. I actually was thinking this. Kind of wish they would have filmed it more specifically from that over-the-shoulder voyeuristic approach that they filmed a lot of the walking scenes. Like, there are certain points where the killer is in the woods and he's looking at the cabin where the teens or whatever are. And you can faintly... I wish the whole movie was like the lake scene, where you never broke from the perspective of the killer, or the camera wandered from him, or the killer wandered from the camera, but it was never intrinsically focused on the kids. Like the campfire scene.
Yeah.
When the camera is just endlessly spinning for 4 fucking minutes.
Yeah.
And you can see the actors' performances are being affected by that, because there are several moments where you could see them take a split-second beat because they knew they were obstructed.
Yeah.
By the back of somebody else, and they wanted to make sure the lines that they delivered,
look at you, Mr. Movies,
were visible.
You should open a video rental store called Mr. Movies.
So, like, there's a scene where he's looking at the chick who's ribbing the stoner guy. You're gonna go fuck those townies. I wish all of that would have been from
the killer's perspective,
and you're hearing the conversation, but it's muffled. But you're getting the gist, because then we wouldn't have to be shouldered with their atrocious acting capabilities.
See, I don't really have any problem with their acting. People complain about the bad acting in this movie. And I think this is the level of acting that is in all of the Friday the 13th movies, correct?
You know, yes. And I don't think it's, for me specifically, it isn't the actual caliber of acting, but it's the people also delivering the lines
I think they're totally fine.
I cannot stomach looking at.
Really?
Or knowing that those people exist in the same world that I do.
Is this, buddy, this is Friday the 13th.
I don't care. I look at those people and I just don't like them.
Listen, he is the sympathetic character in this movie, the murderer.
Kinda.
All of these people there's nothing to them. We're only getting to see them get murdered. You're not getting any backstories.
Like bad. That you're like, yeah.
They should get the fuck out of there.
They should.
Quit fucking around. Get out of there.
Yeah. Did you want to hit me with the synopsis?
Yeah. Like an axe to the back of your head.
It's not a...
And then I'll crawl past you and be like, somebody help me, my leg's been axed.
The tagline for this movie is "Nature is unforgiving," by the way.
In a violent nature, when a bunch of 20-something Canadian idiots remove a locket from a pipe in a burned-down fire watchtower, they unknowingly release the spirit of Johnny, Rye Barrett, some sort of a Jason Voorhees of the Canadian woods, who was responsible for a number of gruesome deaths in the past. As Johnny meanders around the woods on his gruesome grind shit, he dispatches each of the idiots one by one in increasingly savage ways. However, it should be noted that not a single one of these characters or actors are worth noting by names. Eventually, Johnny takes forever to kill the local ranger, as he works his way up to the final girl, who herself does the obvious thing and bounces, thus ending the legacy of rage that consumes the forest and sends it careening off in a violent nature.
Yeah.
Okay.
What do you think about that?
Pretty good. I like this movie. I see what you're saying, how you wish it would stay with the killer, and I thought it was going to, but honestly, I had no problem with it when they broke to the people. I preferred that most of it was him just wandering around the woods.
Yeah.
I like that a lot, actually.
Yeah.
Like, when it just keeps cutting to him walking, and suddenly it's later, and he's in a different area. I'm like, yeah, what would Jason Voorhees do? Mm-hmm. He's not, like, hanging out fishing. Mm-hmm. He's not doing push-ups.
Yeah.
He's just walking his perimeter of whatever giant swath of area he covers.
Yeah, some sort of an internal compass is just directing him. I thought the mask, actually, in hindsight, was pretty dumb. It looked really comical.
A little bit, but it like ties in nicely to the legend, which is quite upsetting.
Yeah, I believe it's a Vehen Bader helmet.
What?
Which is an old firefighter mask.
Okay.
Vehen Bader.
It's pronounced Vajin Bader. But good try.
I was going to get one when I thought this was a video episode.
Aren't you glad you didn't?
Yeah, because on eBay, it's you can get one for $5,280.
That would have been a really good investment.
Yeah.
There would have been 8 people watching this if it was on video saying, hey, look at that.
Yeah. So the movie starts and we're just looking at a pipe. And there's a locket hanging from it and you hear people talking.
I don't think it starts on the pipe. It starts on like different things over there. Isn't there like a structure And then they're like moving around and it cuts to the pipe area.
Maybe. I don't know. So there's a pipe and they take a locket from it. And then we're just looking at the pipe for half a minute.
And it starts vibrating.
Eventually.
Mm-hmm.
And the guy comes out of the ground and he's tore up. He's got a big head. He's wounded of some sort. He's got tore up clothes and shit and kind of greasy sausage fingers.
Yeah, those fingers are pretty sausagey.
And he just starts walking. Just doopy-doo.
Uh-huh.
And he comes across a dead animal carcass in a bear trap.
Uh-huh.
And then notices a camera on a tree. And then notices there are pink markers tied to other trees, and he starts following them. And he comes out of the woods, and you can hear the local ranger talking to some old guy who's setting all these traps. He's like, don't be setting them traps. I don't give a fuck about you, ranger.
Your jurisdiction is at those trees. I know my rights.
Yeah.
I'll put a bullet in your pee-pee.
What do you got in that barn there? You ain't going in there. I'll kill you.
Mm-hmm.
And the whole time the killer's just making his way, and you could see them in the background. And then eventually the ranger's like, all right, I'm getting out of here. And he's like, yeah, you fuck off. And the guy goes into his house.
And the killer is just like standing there in full view of the car as it pulls away.
Yeah.
If he had looked in the mirror, he'd be like, oh, there's a dead man there.
And he
who I've come across before.
Walks into the house. And the old man's in the house, but he's moving in a way that he's not aware that the guy's in the house.
Well, the old man exits the house to do something.
Yeah, he's walking around. And then he comes back in. And the old guy, he gets what looks like his locket. But it's not a locket. Mm-hmm. It's the old man's necklace that says...
I couldn't read it.
Number 1 motherfucker.
Really?
So does his hat.
And Jason Voorhees has the flashback to his dad giving him his locket.
Smoke in a mirror.
This is from your mom and your papa.
Yep.
We love you forever. You're special.
Yep. Which I thought was a weird effect. But
I loved it. This movie is great.
Yeah. So the guy comes in and he's like, what the hell? And he shoots a shot.
Is it a warning shot? Because he doesn't see him yet. He's like, don't you make me do this. He's in the kitchen.
Yeah. He shot the floor. I don't know.
Why would you do that? It's your house.
His house is fucked up, though.
Yeah.
And so the killer just goes over and the guy runs away. And
why won't you say anything? Well, is it his rotten face? Do you think maybe he can't?
Well, and you know, as soon as that guy starts running, he's going to get a bear trap.
Yeah, for sure.
You just know it.
Mm-hmm.
You think he would, even in his frantic state, be like, oh, wait a second. But no, he gets trapped. And the guy comes up and he's just like, hey, no coming back, man.
And then they cut before you see anything cool. Were you worried about that?
Slowly reaches towards the guy's face. Mm-hmm. And then it cuts to his hand slowly reaching for the locket.
Yeah.
But now it's covered in blood.
I was worried that we weren't going to get any good kills because I had heard there was some good kills.
I was actually surprised by some of the kills.
Yeah, well, because it starts like this where you don't see anything. You just see the body later, and you're like, oh, he mushed his head up real good.
Yeah, just in general, I thought it was going to be a little bit more visceral instead of like cartoonish. You know?
I mean, isn't that what Friday the 13th is, though?
Yeah.
This is Friday the 13th.
And I mean, it totally fits into that whole motif.
I'm going to keep saying that all through this movie. This is Friday the 13th.
So he does do that guy in, and he didn't find his necklace, so he starts walking. And he goes to the cabin, and now the kids are out at a bonfire. And the one kid it's weird. It's such a collection of, it's odd because if you get a group of friends together, mm-hmm. like real friends,
yeah,
they're all going to be exactly the same. But that's incredibly boring for a movie.
Okay.
So one's a jock boy, one's the stoner guy.
But these are all the same guy?
What?
These are all the same guy, right? Everybody in this crew? No?
No. They're all incredibly different.
Oh.
Personalities and shit.
Are you joking?
Archetypes.
I feel like none of them felt like anything.
Yeah, one's like the jock guy, one's the stoner guy. The other guy had like a 50s greaser curl. Did you see that?
The guy who gets the axe to the head?
Yeah,
I think it looked more emo to me.
Maybe.
What? Who's the jock?
The mixed girl, her boyfriend.
Who's her boyfriend?
She's talking about his little dick. He's like
Is he
a jock
the one
guy.
that steals the locket?
He's the one who gets, yeah.
He's a jock?
Yeah, he's a jock guy.
They all seem like just fucking dorks, man.
So they're talking about this story about some kid who had mental challenges.
7-year-old kid
And
from
some
the general
firefighter
store.
dudes, they were like, hey, see that thing up there? It's got toys in it.
I think they're loggers.
Yeah. And he climbs up a really tall thing. And one of them is up there with the firefighter mask and scares him, and he falls 8,000 feet. And
I mean,
breaks
of
his neck.
course. Of course. They did it because they were mad at him because one of them slipped on his toy at the general store.
Oh, that's
he
right.
played because that's where the mom worked.
Yeah. So they're like, oh, frick, he's dead. And they decided to just put the firefighter mask on him because they were like, oh, he must have been playing with it and fell.
And then the dad confronted them.
At the mess hall or whatever.
And somehow the dad ended up dead.
Yeah, he slipped on that kid's toy and broke his neck.
And then a few days later, they were all murdered.
Ripped to shreds.
Who did that?
Johnny.
Kid?
Yeah.
But here's the thing.
When he died, he became a full-grown man.
I know that's the thing with this because it's the same thing with Jason, right?
Yeah.
He's a little frog boy, they say.
Yeah, he's a little Corey Feldman, and all of a sudden,
and then he's a giant hulking man beast.
Yeah, what's that guy's name? Something Purcell, Dominic Purcell.
That's a good. Yeah,
I kept thinking that the whole time I saw Johnny from the back.
So yeah, you think it was him? All right, I guess I was thinking maybe it was the mom because we never hear about the mom, and I was 100% convinced that was the mom at the end.
Oh, God, yeah. I thought she was connected.
Uh-huh.
Honey, I'm about to drop you off. Twist.
My boy's upset.
Oh,
You're
no.
gonna get it.
Yeah. That isn't, unfortunately, the case. But no, I assume it's him or the dad, I guess. Because he gave the boy the locket. So when we see the locket flashback, it could be the dad.
Anyways, they tell the story.
Yeah, and we're going to go to bed now. And they go to bed, but they don't. And the stoner guy's like, I'm going to go take a poop. And they're like, oh, you going to fuck them townies? And he's like,
how is he he just a stoner archetype? Was he smoking weed?
He smoked weed at the bonfire before he told his story. Yeah. Out of a pipe. I thought he was rolling a joint the whole time. And then he just rips out of a pipe. But he uses a Zippo?
Tastes good.
I guess. So he goes to poop, and the killer guy, he gets like a knife or something.
What is it? It's like a double saw or something.
Yeah, it's like a mini handsaw.
Because it's got 2 layers of blades.
Yeah. And the guy's leaning against the tree, and the killer puts it like this. They can't see this, though. In front of his head, and he pulls back into his mouth, and he's just yanking.
But there's also one against his chest and mouth.
No. What?
Yeah, I thought there was a blade against his chest and up against his mouth.
No,
that's
just
why
his
I was thinking
mouth.
it's a double layer blade.
Because it cuts his head off. And then you see it stuck in the tree. It's just.
I guess his body didn't get destroyed.
I thought you meant there was 2 blades side by side.
I thought I saw them cutting here too. But
no, because he grabs the body.
No, I know. That's a good point.
And all of a sudden he's just dragging this guy's corpse.
It is
and
pretty
holding his
exciting
head.
when he separates that head from there. It's like, well,
it
this
looks
is pretty
funny,
good.
But
I think it's all pretty good.
I don't know. The top of the head, his eyes, I don't know. It just seems like very funny.
You ready for it?
Yeah.
This is Friday the 13th.
Oh, I didn't catch that.
This isn't elevated. It's elevated in that it's prettier to look at and you got a slightly different perspective, but it is exactly that.
And so he drags the body all the way back to some lodge and breaks in, uses the head to smash the door to get in, and then
the body to break through the display case.
Just throws the body at the display case.
The fireman stuff.
Grabs the fireman hat.
The chains with the hooks, like the log climbing chains,
I guess.
And then his axe.
I thought this was really effective because when he's walking out of the woods towards the shelter, you can't see jack shit.
Yeah.
You hear it, and there's like a little bit of something, and then all of a sudden, chunk, and the floodlight comes on.
Uh-huh.
And you're like, oh, word. He goes in, he does his thing. You can hear it turn off when he's inside. And then when he puts the shit on and he comes out, chunk, it comes back on and it illuminates him. I kind of wish he would have just kept walking, but he stops to look at the light so you can really see the mask. And then he leaves.
I thought he was going to set up all the bodies in that place. I
yeah,
thought every
why
time
is
he
he
killed
bringing
somebody,
that
he was
body
going to put it there.
He must be posing it or something, because you could just smash the thing.
Well, he's 7 years old. He's got toys.
I guess.
It's his toy.
So then next we see the two gals.
Swimmers?
Yeah, she's like, I thought we were doing yoga. And she's like, nah, girl, I brought you here to swim. And she goes, well, quit this high school bullshit.
Quit beating around the bush and fuck me if you want to fuck me.
And I love this because the killer is coming out of the woods and he's on the shore, but he's across the shore from where they are.
Mm-hmm.
And this motherfucker just starts walking into the water.
Hell yeah.
And the camera just stays there.
Mm-hmm.
You can hear their dialogue in the distance. The girl's like, I'm going to be up here. Come get me when you know, whatever. And don't tire yourself out. And you see the girl swimming. And then she lets out a scream, but isn't able to completely vocalize it. She's underwater. Yeah. It was.
Do you get two of those?
She comes back out. Yeah. And goes back in.
Not enough to alert the other girl, although they think the other girl will be like, what?
She's long gone.
Yeah.
At that point.
Mm-hmm.
And she's going uphill, so she probably is well out of the blast radius of the sound. Okay. And then it cuts to the dock from the dock's perspective, and then all of a sudden, boom, she comes floating up.
Yeah.
And slowly pans, and this guy's just walking out of the water. And you can tell he's having difficulty walking because he's soaked and the clothes are really heavy.
He's not really Jason Voorhees.
And he's on mud. Yeah, he's like, I'm trying. I kind of also was expecting him to be holding her lower half.
Yeah, that murder wasn't really super exciting.
Because what did he do? Just drown her? Because there's no blood.
Was her head slightly separate or no?
No, I mean, you don't really get to see. It's just her hair. And you're like, what does he do? Because he's underneath her and she's swimming. Does he just reach up and grab her? Does he hook her? And
twist her nose off?
Yeah.
If I was Jason Voorhees, I'd twist your nose off.
So then he immediately goes up to the blonde.
Not you. You'd be cool in my book.
Thank you.
Just want you to know. Because she specifically said where she would be.
Yeah.
And he heard that from across the lake.
Apparently, and knows where it is.
He hears lots of stuff.
And he's walking up behind her and she's like, about time.
She doesn't hear him for the longest time. He gets so close to her before he like steps on a stick and she's like, oh, it's time to party.
And when she turns around and sees him, he's still a few feet away.
Yeah.
And then she turns around to face away from him to look down the slope that she's on. And then he cuts her in the gut.
He sticks that hook through her back.
His entire hand with the hook through her.
She should have jumped, right? It seemed like she could have made it. It's just a slope.
It's just a slope.
And he moves slow.
Even if it's rocky and loose gravel. So?
You know, the whole problem with this movie is, you guys, he moves slow, just like Jason Voorhees. If you get to a road and you can go in the right direction, you're good. Now, if you go deeper in the woods, you're fucked.
Yeah.
But don't be running through the trees. Get to the actual path.
Yeah. And so he's put his hand through her, and then he takes the hook and he jams it into her head. So,
because she's still alive, she turns around. Her body still works, even though her spine has been shattered.
Yeah, yeah.
And she looks at him, and he's like, "I hate you still."
And then he puts his foot on her back while she's standing up,
with the hook in her head.
Yanks the hook so that her head goes through her stomach and comes out of her back.
Yeah.
And then she just crumbles. And he kicks her off the thing.
I laughed. I thought this is pretty
watching
great.
her body tumble and go bloop right into the water.
Honestly, I really felt much more connected to the killer and how he was murdered. Really bothered by it. And these people did nothing, but that guy did steal the locket, and they are out there to kind of like leer and look at the bad situation. And honestly, if any of them had just like gotten the fuck out of there, they'd be okay. Now, the early murders, they have no idea, but still.
It's at this point where we hear the boyfriend and the girlfriend and another boy talking like, they're missing. We got to get out of here. Something's going on.
Well, no, I think they found a body.
We got to go for help or something.
They're like, Gary's dead.
He was brought to that place. So they would have had to have gone to that place.
But I feel like they knew he was dead.
I think they're like, he's been gone since last night.
Okay.
And
this is
now
when the killer is
missing.
overhearing them by their cabin, right?
Yeah.
And
the boyfriend and the girlfriend get on an ATV and they're going to go get help.
The ranger station, right?
Jerry Curl is... No. Not the boyfriend. The other friend. The boyfriend and Jerry Curl are still at the cabin. Oh, they throw the keys into the woods?
Yeah.
Because the guy's like, man, I'm having a baller weekend, getting shat-faced. I don't care about anything. Don't ruin this for me. And so he throws the keys into the woods.
Hell yeah, that's a good attitude.
And Johnny picks him up, and there's a little car attached to him. And he's like, ooh. He
Play with
sits
these
down.
wheels.
He's playing with it. He takes off his mask, and we see a clear as day shot of his face.
His dead ghoul face.
Yeah, and I didn't like that.
I was fine with it.
I didn't need to see that.
No, you didn't need to see it, but I thought it was fine.
Yeah.
Because again, they show you Jason's face. I mean, this is that.
No, I know. Yeah. So the two of them get on the ATV and leave because he's pissed now. And he grabs a piece of wood and he sticks it in the car.
Oh, to set the horn off.
And then walks to the side of, the back of, and around the house.
And that one guy in the house sees him walk by.
In the window,
That's pretty good.
That is pretty good because it's faint.
Yeah.
And the other guy, it takes him forever to go out to look at why the horn's going off. But he does. Mm-hmm. And he turns around and Johnny axes him in his thigh. And he goes, oh, shit! And falls. And right when Johnny's about to axe him again, boom, he's shot by the kid inside Jerry Curl. Mm-hmm. And he goes over to his friend. He's like, fuck, man, I got to get you bandaged. I'm going to put a tourniquet on you. And we're going to get out of here.
Oh, there's two separate guys. I'm sorry. I lost track of one of the guys. Okay.
Yeah. Boyfriend and Jerry Curl. The boyfriend's injured. So he tourniquets him.
Jerry Curl's not Emo that I was thinking of.
He is.
Emo's the one who gets chopped to bits later.
Oh, that's Stoner. So they're the same guy. He's the one who smoked weed.
No, you said Stoner's the one that got killed by the saw in the beginning of the movie.
To the head.
Yeah, I'm talking.
He uses that saw.
Yeah, I'm talking about when they have the plan to trick him to go to the fire station, and he risks himself to be like, "Hey, come over here!"
Oh,
and
yeah.
he kills him immediately. That's the Emo looking guy.
Okay,
because you barely see him.
He's like
a
Rami Malek looking kind of guy.
Okay.
So him and her and the girlfriend are the ones who get on the ATV. So the boyfriend, he's injured now, and his friend's helping him. And Johnny just kind of does an Undertaker and sits up. And he grabs his axe and he just thing.
And you don't hear anything.
No, except boyfriend kind of going, ah.
Yeah.
Ah. And Johnny slowly walks up and dude got an axe to the back of the noggin.
He's dead immediately.
In a lot of ways, he has the most merciful kill.
Yeah. He doesn't even know it's coming.
And he doesn't mutilate his corpse thereafter.
Yeah.
Which we know he totally does. So he grabs the rock and he's straddling boyfriend who's just like, no, man, you ain't got to do this. No, and he just drops it in his head. Just goes Gallagher.
I think that's great.
It's a cool effect. I think it's relatively unrealistic, but
he's so strong, Julian. You don't understand.
I guess.
He's got the power of hell behind him.
And he grabs his axe and then he's looking at the boyfriend's corpse. He's pilfering through his pockets because he's pretty certain he's got the locket.
Lucy lost her pocket. Is that right?
But he doesn't. He goes, that's weird. And then all of a sudden, over his shoulder, the idiots show back up on the ATV.
Gary?
Hey, what's going on over here?
Gary, where are you, Gary?
What's happening? And then the killer comes up and they go, oh shit. And he throws an axe, but it misses the girl and we see the locket on her neck. And they get on the ATV and they get out of there. But then the killer catches up to them and they're not on the ATV anymore. And
they're
can hear
at the ranger station.
Whispering.
Is it the ranger station?
That's right. They go to the ranger station. You're right. And the ranger's there and he's totally like, you idiots.
You took the locket?
Why the fuck would you have done that?
That's the only thing that's kept him in the ground.
And he shows up. There he is. And he shoots him and he falls.
Do you remember me? I remember you 10
you
years
asshole.
ago.
And I'm thinking, is this the sheriff from The Void?
I thought looks like one of the Derek comedy guys. I can't remember his name.
And so he shoots him and he goes down and he goes, go to the shed and get chain. I can handle this. My pappy did it. And the guy is like taking forever. And he goes, where the fuck are you? I'm here with the chain. All right, chain him up. I can't do that.
I'm too scared.
All right, put the chain by his feet. And he
maybe you shoot him a few more times before you start chaining
just
him
keep
up.
Plugging him.
Yeah, you have bullets
in his head.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of holding your gun on him. And he drops the chain and it doesn't make any noise. And then he goes, all right, you're too chicken shit to put chain on him.
Mr. Movies over here. I don't hear no noise.
What I'm going to do is give you the gun.
I'm going to fire this Foley artist right now.
And you're going to hold the gun on him while I chain him up.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm going to count to 3 because it has to be a smooth handing off of the gun inches away from his head.
Uh-huh.
I mean, we can literally just back up
and
I can give you the gun.
Mm-hmm.
Because if he sits up, then we can shoot him.
Yeah.
But nope, he grabs the gun and they wrestle and he knocks the sheriff down and just squeezes his spine and paralyzes him completely.
Jules, this is coming up on like another situation that I found pretty hysterical.
Like the way because the sheriff's on his hands and knees, and the way he grabs his back, he squeezes, he goes, ah!
But then he goes limp, and he's just
done.
all eyes from here on
All
out.
eyes. Look, Mom, all eyes.
And this is like a pretty long sequence, man. We're just like, ooh,
He walks
this
away.
isn't good. He's not. He doesn't like consider him dead, and he's moving on. He's going to do bad things to this guy.
I kind of think he's like, you know what? You're paralyzed. Nobody's going to come for you. Later. See you later.
Oh, that's what you thought was going to
Yeah,
happen?
you're just going to be starving to death.
Too bad that guy was like, hey, I helped put you in the ground 10 years ago.
Uh-huh.
Remember me? You should be extra mad at me and do extra bad things to me.
And you hear an engine of motor of some sort start.
Yeah.
And you think, oh shit, he's coming out with the chainsaw.
Sure.
Doesn't sound like one, but what else could it be?
Well,
He just grabs this guy's limp corpse, drags him into this really big shed.
oh man, is he going to compact his body? Is it a trash compactor?
No, it's actually a pneumatic axe used to slowly cord wood.
Cord it? Is that what you call it when you do bundles?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, you can have as many bundles as you want. But,
100? Can I have 100 bundles of wood?
and you're thinking,
I'm willing to pay.
and he lays there and watches the thing because you have to pull it,
Did you not know instantly what was going to happen?
of course, but you have
I
to
thought he was
pull
going
it
to, yeah.
each time.
Yeah. I thought he was going to split him right up the middle and cut
Yeah.
to his head.
Nope. He puts his arm on there.
Yeah. Blood.
And the guy, he obviously can't feel anything.
I was going to say, now, Julian, I'm pretty sure he's paralyzed, which means he cannot feel what is going to happen to
He
him.
also can't see
What?
what's happening because he's just like this.
Oh, yeah,
The
yeah.
arm's
He
over
can't
here.
move his head.
So he's just like, what's happening? And he unnecessarily severs his arm and then grabs him and puts his head there.
For funsies.
And it doesn't cut his head in half. It just severs his head.
Yeah. Did you saw, I assumed you saw the moment where, like, it's clearly him there blinking.
Yeah.
And then he walks in front of the camera and then it's the dummy next.
This entire sequence takes probably 9 minutes.
I don't know if it's that long, but I loved it. You were bored?
It's just like, I know what's going to happen. You don't need to cut off his arm. All right.
Oh,
whatever.
man, I loved that. I thought it was hilarious.
Fine.
I was like, this is
He knows how to operate that device.
right. This is over the top, violent, ridiculous. They're just giving us a real gory, silly kill. I don't
Yeah.
give a fuck about this ranger.
Oh, no, he's apparently like some sort of an asshole.
Well, I don't know that he's an asshole. Why is what? Because he's confronted that guy over doing bad stuff?
Yeah,
Nah, that guy's doing shitty things.
it's justified.
Trapping animals? That animal that Jason Voorhees found was rotted. He didn't eat it. He just trapped an animal and left it there to die.
No, that guy, but he's already dead.
Yeah, isn't that what you're talking about? That's
No.
why he's an asshole, because he confronted that guy?
No,
Why
he's
is
an
the
asshole because
ranger-
he's talking shit to the killer.
Well,
You
I mean,
bitch.
he is a bad guy. That's,
So now that Emo and girlfriend are like whispering in the woods, and the plan apparently is whatever it is involves gasoline
mm-hmm,
and chains.
mm-hmm.
So the emo guy goes to the girlfriend. He goes, "I'm going to distract him."
Because they have to lure him to back to the place where he died.
Yep.
That's the only ground that can hold him.
Mhm.
See, they're gonna wrap him in chains and burn him, and then he's fine.
I don't know.
What about when the rain falls on him and he slowly regenerates?
Is she single-handedly going to wrap him in chains and then burn him? The plan is fakaked, and she knows this.
Oh, I don't know that she knows that.
She does. She gets the whiff of it. It's one of those things because we had just watched Not Tropic Thunder, Pineapple Express, and I kept thinking of Craig Robinson when he keeps going in at the end. Like, I can hear you,
Yeah.
because that's totally what's happening.
Mm-hmm.
He's hearing this idiot whisper, "I'm going to distract him,"
Yeah.
and he pops up. Hey, yeah! He turns around and just kills him immediately.
It's hilarious.
Puts an axe through his melon so hard that he drives his skull into the tree. It must, because his body's staying up while he's axing him on the tree. And then the body falls. And
she's just watching him mutilate that body for like 5 minutes. He's just hitting it and hitting it and hitting it.
Yeah.
She's like, okay, well, there's this gasoline, these chains. I'm supposed to go to the water tower. I think I'm going to put the locket here and leave.
She's like, oh, this plan is fakaked. What am I going to do against this guy?
Yeah.
She puts the
Locket?
on the
Pole?
and she literally like, he backs away.
She could probably fight him, right? 1-on-1.
Yeah.
What about Yumi? You think Yumi could take him?
You make the first move because Yumi can take him. And she does just that. She hightails it the fuck out of there, and we're treated to a prolonged sequence of her running.
Well, it's her version of what he was doing where he's marching. Now it's her. I was wondering if maybe she had already died when she got in that truck at the end. I was like, oh, is she dead and she's caught in a loop or something?
So she's running and she's screaming and she's running.
He doesn't inherently know where people are.
No.
It's always like the sound that draws him.
And then all of a sudden, it cuts to her sitting on the ground with a stick in her foot.
Yeah, but come on now.
She pulls it out. It's like a stake almost.
I don't think that really should have happened. Just run it through the woods. Like, you might, like, break your ankle.
It looks less like a stick and more like a carved stake.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm thinking, is this one of that guy's traps?
The Frog Brothers set it up?
And so she pulls this thing out, and it's filmed in a way where she's taking up most of the center frame. When you see her reactions, it keeps cutting to her foot and her and the foot. I'm thinking, oh, she's going to lean back and reveal he's just standing there.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't happen. So she's on a road all of a sudden. It just cuts to her standing on a road like she's a zombie.
Well, I think she doesn't know, like, which way to go, right? Because one way on the road might bring you deeper into the logging
absolutely.
country, right?
Absolutely. But it just sort of feels like she's just, I don't know, jerried out, you know? And all of a sudden, she starts running towards a vehicle that's approaching her. Hey!
And obviously, it's going to be Jason Voorhees is going to be driving it.
Yeah. It's his whip, you know? And the woman stops like, oh, sugar child, let me help you. And we're removed from this.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden, the camera's steadily moving now to them and around the car to them. And I'm thinking, shit.
He's there.
He's about to grab her and peel her like a banana.
Hopefully he grabs the other lady who tried to pick her up first, and then she can hop in
That's
the
what I
car
thought
and
was
drive
going to
away.
happen. Yeah. But that doesn't. So they're in the car and she's driving and the woman's really weird. What you doing out here?
Nothing.
Oh, that's weird.
I like the woods. Hurt my ankle. Nobody else is dead.
Because then she keeps asking questions and she goes, sweetie, I'm going to need you to respond to me. I'm thinking, oh, yes. She's being a bad girl. And nothing. So she stops because she passes out. And she's telling a story about her dumb idiot brother or uncle or some asshole who gets mauled by a bear, but doesn't die. And you're thinking, oh, she's talking about how the bear is just like a force of nature, a killing machine. It's not doing it for food.
Yeah, you're like into violent nature.
And you're thinking, oh, it was the guy. He was the bear. So she passes out and she stops. And she's like, oh, child, I'm going to have to tourniquet your leg because it looks like it's kind of bleeding.
I didn't like this. I was like, okay, this lady might be cool, but steal her car?
Yeah. Because she goes, what are you stopping for? Take me to the hospital. No, child, I got to tourniquet your leg. I thought either he was finally going to appear when they're suggesting he might and kill that woman, and then she steals the car, or she's going to do something again still and reveal that she's bad. And the girl's just freaking. We need to go. We need to go. She's like, let me do this.
She's right. She should have stolen the car, though.
Yeah.
Would you have stolen the car? I would have stolen the car. But like, I'm so sorry. He's going to kill you. You should keep going this way.
But they've been driving for a significant amount of time.
I know. Why are they still in the woods? But she'd also been running a significant amount of time. So it almost seems like they could have driven right back to where he's hanging out.
And so she's tourniqueting her leg. And the girl's freaking. And she's looking over the woman's shoulder into the woods. And the wind is blowing. And it was at this point that I finally understood The Happening.
The movie The Happening?
I get it now. That movie was this movie, but it was ahead of its time.
The Happening?
Warning you about nature, yeah. Remember that?
Yeah.
With the nature killing you?
Uh-huh.
It's like this.
You're right.
It's all an allegory for the rising anarcho-fascism of Antifa.
You doing that again?
That's just the fact.
Okay.
I got a newsletter I'm going to show you.
Is this this is to make Ben like you more?
Wear cool suits with them. Like we're pimps going to church on Sunday.
Trout suit.
And it's actually I thought a really great ending. It's suggesting like extreme amounts of menace and dread. And then it cuts and they're doing like a really weird Appalachian kind of song, but it's about Ontario.
In North Ontario.
So that's the movie and it's over.
You were scared shitless, all right.
No, but I did enjoy this movie quite a bit. I thought it was really interesting.
It's super entertaining. It doesn't overstay its welcome. Is it long? Is it
It's
like
a little
an hour and a
clunky,
half?
like when the girls razzing him about going out to fuck the townies.
I wanted to see the townies. Did you want to see the townies that...
I was like, did we see the townies?
No, it's like, show me them because you're making fun of them. It sounds like they're ugly and busted. I want to see them.
But no, man, this movie's pretty solid. The mask is a little stupid, but it has to be there. So it is what it is, you know?
Yeah?
It very much is like Friday the 13th Part 2.
Yeah.
A little bit Part 3. Pretty solid. If I had to rate it as a film, I'm going to give it a 7.
Yeah.
It's good.
Entertaining.
It looks really good.
Nice. Because I don't think I like Friday the 13th movies, but I like this entry into it.
That lake sequence was just incredibly well done.
I was never bored looking at this movie. Like, it's shot prettily enough, and the dread, you know, I mean, it's
I
not
like
even
the
really
walking
dread.
scenes the most.
Yeah, I really got a kick out
The
of
killing scenes are gruesome and funny or whatever.
They're fun. Normally, I don't know that I'm that excited about gore. And this one, I was like, oh, yeah, okay.
It's so completely outlandish when he's pulling that woman through herself.
It's hilarious. It's bonkers.
It's just like, fine, all right, whatever.
I don't want to see the Terrifier movies, but I think the Terrifier movies are kind of like that.
There's
like
something
real adventurous gore.
Even though I thought the top head prop looked really silly when you really get eyes on it, I don't know. There's something incredible about watching him dragging that corpse. And you don't know why.
Yeah.
And then it turns out it's for no reason. But I don't know. Yeah, there's something about the way that they filmed that. Because the camera, sometimes it's moving around tree branches to follow his path. He goes directly through it. The camera kind of goes around it. So it really does feel like you're the voyeur just watching this.
Yeah, there was one time where I thought he was a little bit ahead. And I was like, oh, what if he goes around the corner? Why would he startle the camera? The camera doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Also 7. You say 7?
I did.
7.
Yeah.
Fun.
On the spookometer, didn't really do that for me, but
that girl's the only one that I was mildly invested in, and really only once she was in that truck, and I was like, oh shit, this is his mom.
Yeah, her at the campfire, I thought she was not good.
No, until she was like the last one, and you're starting to identify with her, and you're a little bit concerned because you're like, what's up with this lady?
Yeah.
That's the only time I cared about her, and I was a little worried. I give this movie a 2 on the spookometer.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, that's very fair. And it's a really good movie, though.
Mm-hmm.
There it is.
Yep.
In a Violent Nature. It's got a cool name, too.
Are you enjoying our spookies? Not you.
Oh, yeah.
763-634-1897.
Yeah.
You can call us. You could also email us at wedoingfilmographies@gmail.com.
Leave a voicemail telling us a scary story.
Mm-hmm.
Keep it short, half a minute.
Follow us on Instagram, YouTube, Reddit, Facebook, Threads, Discord. You want to talk to us on Discord? It's just me and Jules in there. We haven't posted in months.
Yeah. Wouldn't it be crazy if there was like one person in there?
No, it'd be weird, right? Like we would discover them a week or two after they came by and be like, oh, wait, no, come back.
No,
come back. It's me, Jules.
Yeah.
I'm Jason.
You could rate us on Apple Podcasts. And in doing so, once the rating is posted and verified and live,
you can say, I need BTTF123.
So join us tomorrow for
90 It's the World is tomorrow. All right. I've been Jason.
I've been Jules.
And happy Halloween.